Today's sponsor is Twitch, who is streaming the first 19 seasons of Pokemon as we speak. Hey guys, Ron here, and you're probably asking, what is so important about these facts that I had to put it in the title, the thumbnail, and tattooed on my arm? Well, for a long time, I didn't really want to make Pokemon fact videos on my channel because I thought it would be pretty boring to just blurt out a bunch of random facts that have nothing to do with each other. So all of the important fact videos on this channel have a certain theme, and the one for this video is important facts that help clear up some kind of controversy in the franchise, whether it be about some kind of controversial Pokemon or an entire event in Pokemon history. The following facts will help you understand some of these crazy situations, and they could have been averted if we knew all of these facts in the first place. That's why they're very important. The first fact revolves around Kadabra and how the symbols on its body are constantly mistaken to represent things that they are not. In fact, Uri Geller, the famed Israeli psychic who Kadabra gets his Japanese name from, sued Nintendo, claiming Kadabra was an unauthorized use of his likeness. But then you'd ask, what's wrong about that? I'd love to have a pretty cool Pokemon like Kadabra represent my supposed powers. Well, the big problem that Uri had was how the star and marks on Kadabra's body kinda resemble the symbols associated with the SS. You know, the Nazi squad responsible for the Holocaust. Okay, now I kinda get Uri's case, except for the fact that those symbols have nothing to do with Nazis. They are symbols that can be found on Zener cards, cards used to detect whether or not a person has ESP or psychic powers. Now that kinda makes perfect sense, but you'd think that Uri Geller, a professional psychic, would understand what these symbols mean. As a result of this lawsuit, Kadabra hasn't appeared in the TCG in a very long time. But that's not the only card or Nazi-related controversy. There are even some that won't be discussed in this video. You'd kinda think that it would be easy to avoid Nazi imagery in a friendly franchise, but it's actually more common than you think. The Pokemon card Koga's Ninja Trick contains what looks like a swastika in its original Japanese, but it isn't, and it's kind of obvious that Pokemon isn't promoting fascism. The symbol is known as a Manji in Japan, which is a very peaceful symbol in much of Asia. The people of Japan don't associate it even a bit with what the people in the West do, which is racism. In fact, in Japan, it's used in signs and maps to indicate sacred locations and Buddhist temples. So obviously this had to be changed for the English release when members of the Jewish community condemned Nintendo for using an understandably offensive image. Okay, I'm kinda making it look like us Jews complain about everything, but you gotta admit that last one was kinda offensive to anybody in the West. But the next one could have been avoided with a bit of research. Fact number 3 explains why Probopass isn't a caricature of anti-Semitic imagery, what with Probopass's hat, big nose, and facial hair resembling various super racist cartoons of Jews. But just like its pre-evolved form Nosepass, this handsome Pokemon is based on the Moai heads found in Easter Island. Some of you may ask, but Ron, since when do these Moai heads have hats? Oh. Yeah, the most recent statues have headdresses and even eyes, which resemble Probopass's beady peepers. The mustache is just iron filings that are attracted to this monster's magnetic nose. That pretty much explains everything, right? Fact number 4 explains Jynx's origin, which is super necessary because a bunch of people justifyingly assumed that this abomination resembles the super racist act of blackface, which it does, but that's not what Jynx is supposed to be. But either way, the sensitivity that revolves around blackface doesn't really exist in Japan, so it's not a surprise that this kind of stereotype would slip through the cracks into the Pokemon franchise. Jynx is actually based on the Ganguro fashion trend, which was pretty popular at the time of Red and Green's release. Japanese women would bleach their hair and tan their skin, usually as an act of rebellion. An extreme subset of this trend is called Yamamba, after a mountain witch found in Japanese folklore. Her appearance and ties to snow have translated into Jynx's design and abilities as well. And to top it all off, Jynx has the fashion sense of a Viking woman or even Valkyrie. And you know how Nordic people are all about that snow. So while it has a hint of other inspirations like the Yuki-onna or Zwarte Piet, Ganguro and the Yamauba seem to be the main inspiration for Jynx's creation. That rhymed. Whatever, it's not racism though. Fact number 5 also delves into the origin of another Pokemon in order to alleviate a very recent controversy. You see, when Venusaur's running animation was revealed in pre-release footage of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, the whole world went nuts! There were riots and massive casualties, all because people couldn't believe that Venusaur hops like a frog. But the fact is that frogs seem to be a huge part of the Bulbasaur line's identity way before the games were even released. In a recent interview, Ken Sugimori explained how he designed the final forms of the starters first, and then Asuko Nishida, the creator of another Pokemon that you may have heard of, Pikachu, well, she worked backwards from the final forms and created Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. And according to Sugimori, he elaborated how the starters were designed to resemble common pets like frogs, lizards, and turtles, so kids could easily connect to these fantasy characters since there was still a sense of reality. So there you have it, Venusaur was always part frog, so no reason to throw away all your Pokemon merchandise. I mean, you can just give them to me. Do that. But Nintendo did basically throw out Porygon even though it didn't do anything wrong. I'm sure you guys are familiar with how the episode Electric Soldier Porygon put hundreds of Japanese viewers in the hospital because these flashing lights triggered epileptic seizures and other adverse effects. But even though fact number 6 is that Pikachu was the one who triggered those flashing lights after using an electric type move, Porygon was blamed for this whole debacle. And since then, Porygon and its family had no major role in any form of Pokemon related media. But you know how the media is. According to Trump, it's 80% fake news. So that's why the 7th fact is dedicated to the Trump Pokemon himself, Gumshoos. And the fact is that Gumshoos isn't a Trump Pokemon. I mean, we were all kidding, right? We were just playing along because it kinda looks like Trump. But some of you may not even know what it was designed to look like in the first place. Gumshoos is the stakeout Pokemon. It's a detective, and Gumshoe is actually the informal way of referring to a detective. Its fur was made to look like a trench coat, and its hair resembles a flat cap. So think less of this and more of this. Some people even get Psyduck and Golduck confused because Psyduck is the one with a nice golden complexion and Golduck is the one that is more in tune with its psychic abilities, leading some fans to assume that the names were mistakenly switched in the West. But the fact is that Golduck is still Golduck in Japan, and Gold in general is associated with the psychic type in the Pokemon franchise. You know that marsh badge you get from Sebrina? It's even called the Gold badge in Japan. Just remember that Golduck isn't actually a psychic type. That's a thing that a lot of people don't really get, so should I make that the 9th fact? Nah. Fact number 9 will deal with an actual psychic type. There are a lot of people online that think Gardevoir is less innocent than it actually is, so I think describing this Pokemon's origin will help you appreciate it even more. Gardevoir resembles a principal dancer, the highest ranked dancer in a pro ballet company, but as a guardian angel, this Pokemon fights for the survival of its trainer. There's a reason it's called Sir Knight in Japan, hence both male and female Gardevoirs existing. But the most overarching origin of the entire Gardevoir line are these paper dolls in Japan called Ningyo. This origin even branches off to Ralts and Curlia, who have the hairstyle of the boy and girl Ichimatsu Ningyo. A majority of these white-skinned dolls were given as gifts to protect loved ones, so Gardevoir is as wholesome as can be. Number 10 explains why the most anticipated Pokemon to get a Mega, Flygon, didn't in Generation 6. The answer is a simple case of artist block. Ken Sugimori stated that the design team couldn't complete a Mega Flygon design in time, so they just didn't. But they were going to, and that's what counts. Not really, but they tried. But one actual Mega that is surrounded by controversy is Mega Ampharos. It was, alongside a few other Megas, the first to be revealed back when it was discovered in Korokoro. But people don't understand why Mega Ampharos is a dragon type. You got the classic argument of, these two aren't dragon types, but this sheep is? Well, it's interesting to note that Ampharos' Japanese name, Denryu, translates to electric current. And it kind of also means electric dragon. This could mean that Game Freak thought it would be clever to make Mega Ampharos a dragon type after giving it a woolly cloud-like hair, longer horns, and even more orbs, all of which are attributes of Asian dragons like Shenron and Mega Ampharos. Speaking of dragons, when Primal Reversion was revealed in the form of Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre, people were a bit confused because Primal Dialga existed. This Dialga from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon has lost control of its time abilities and has gone berserk, and its color scheme is a bit different too. So was this Primal Reversion related? No, it wasn't. Because in Japan it's just called Dark Dialga, and the Primal in Primal Dialga just refers to how it only cares for its survival, not that it's returning to its ancient state like Kyogre and Groudon. A few fans still think that Primal Reversion is still evolution. Heck, evolution isn't even evolution. The fact that Pokemon evolve has caused a lot of controversy among extremely religious groups because it seems to promote Darwin's theory of evolution. But Pokemon evolution is nothing like actual evolution. The theory of evolution actually dictates that animals change over countless generations via natural selection, which simply means that creatures that are born with minor traits that better suit their environment are able to survive and therefore produce more offspring. offspring. While Pokemon have been proven to evolve via natural selection, as showcased by Alolan forms, Pokemon evolution isn't by natural selection, but by radical metamorphosis. Pokemon evolution is just a more intense version of what a butterfly goes through, and I see no reason for Christian fundamentalists to boycott butterflies, unless it's Vivian, you know, Pokemon number 666. But while that wasn't an intentional reference to the Bible, more specifically the Book of Revelations, there are a large group of Pokemon that are based on various religious beasts, symbols, and figures. I've heard a lot of people say that Pokemon shouldn't and wouldn't release Pokemon that are based on religious figures, but they already have. Almost a quarter of all Pokemon are based on gods and spirits from the Japanese religion Shinto. We have Buddhist-inspired Pokemon like Darmanitan, which is derived from the dolls based on the revered Buddhist monk, Pokemon with actual biblical counterparts like the Weather Trio, which is based on Behemoth, Leviathan, and Ziz, Pokemon based on Hebrew folklore like Golduck and the Reggies, and Pokemon with Hindu origins like any Pokemon based on the Karura, and even old religions that are now myths like the Anubis Pokemon Lucario, and the Hellhound that is Houndoom. And let's not forget Arceus, which is just an amalgamation of a plethora of different creation gods from a bunch of different religions. And the last fact is something I wish everybody understood because it's pretty neat. Let's begin by making sure that you understand that Type Null was created by the Aether Foundation to fight Ultra Beasts using the RKS system, which mimics Arceus' ability of multiple types. It was originally called Type Full, but then it went crazy and they deemed it a failure, so they fitted it with a helmet that suppresses its powers and named it Type Null. It wasn't fully in control of its powers until it was given some sweet Chimera love by Gladion. Once this Pokemon evolved via friendship with its emo partner, this Pokemon was given the name Silvally, because it was the boy's silver ally. The game says it was named by Gladion himself. How cute. In Japan, it's called Shirovadi, which is a combination of silver and buddy. You can call it Silvally all you want, but at least understand that it's called Silvally for a very touching reason. And you can actually see all of this in the anime. Thankfully, today's sponsor is Twitch, who is streaming the first 19 seasons of Pokemon as we speak, including all episodes and movies. They're even giving away a free Twitch hoodie to one of my viewers. Follow the link on screen and in the description to go to Twitch Presents Stream and watch some Pokemon with thousands of fans right now. I'll obviously be there because I actually need to catch up on the Sinnoh arcs that I haven't watched, and I hear they're amazing. And to make sure you watch too, I urge you guys to tweet at me a picture of you viewing the stream so you can be entered into our exclusive giveaway. The winner, who I will announce in a month, will receive a free Twitch hoodie. But what's so special about this specific stream? Well, you can catch Pokemon on screen while you watch the marathon. So technically, the more you watch, the more points you'll get and finally become a true Pokemon master. The Pokemon anime was actually my gateway into the franchise, so I can't recommend this stream enough. And that giveaway is a big deal too. It's actually my first giveaway in years, so be the very best and follow the link to fill your life with Pokemon for months to come. And that's all for this video. What are some categories that you want me to touch upon in another fact video? And if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Check the description for a link to the t-shirts I made, my Patreon where you can donate for some cool rewards like early video access, and my Twitter, which I beg you to follow because it's super important. Make sure to check out the videos on screen right now, and I'll see you guys very soon.